Okay, we're going to get started. I hope the microphones work. Can you hear me in the back? We're okay. Okay, thank you. Good evening, and thank you for attending this evening's Mayoral debate sponsored by the Terre Haute Mayoral Partnership. My name is Rick Terry. I'm a resident of the College Park neighborhood, and I'm the president of the Neighborhood Partnership. We are an alliance of neighborhoods, and one of our goals is to better communicate between city government and our membership neighborhoods. If you're interested, Marie Pontius, our secretary, has been handing out little brochures that tell more about, and Jennifer Nelson right back here is passing them out too. We meet on the fourth Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. in the Old Crawford School. I just want to remind everybody to please turn off your cell phones if you haven't already done so. And I want to thank, with a sincere thanks, the school administration and the staff of Sarah Scott for setting all this up. They've done a tremendous job, and they worked very hard to do this. So thanks to them. And I want to thank the gentlemen in the back for providing our security. I hope we all behave ourselves, and I think we will, and let these two candidates debate. And I mentioned the brochure, but I just want to mention one other thing, is you'll probably find the members of the Terre Haute Neighborhood Partnership are a pretty diverse group of people. We come from different neighborhoods throughout the city of Terre Haute. Different races, different religions, different social, economic, and political backgrounds. Some of us are supporting Mayor Burke, some of us are supporting New Bennett. But you would think with that diversity there's a lot of controversy, but there's really a lot of unity when we get together because we all want the same thing. We all want the fundamentals. We want the illegal drug manufacturers, the users, and the dealers out of our neighborhood. We want something that's fundamental as clean water and clean air. We want our neighborhoods free of trash and litter and graffiti. But with that, we realize there are no easy answers, there's no overnight solutions, and some of these issues are not possible to solve unless city government works with organized neighborhoods. So with that, I want to introduce our moderator, Mr. David Wolf. David is the Vice President of Administration of Templeton Coal Company. He lives in the College Park neighborhood. He's active in Rotary, United Way, Walleye Valley Community Foundation. He is active politically. He has been active with the U.S. Chamber and the Indiana Chamber of Commerce. And David is a very good friend. If all of you knew David as well as I do, you would find he's probably one of the most genuine, kind people you would ever want to meet. He's a great father. Two of his children attend North Eagle High School. He has a daughter that attends the University of Notre Dame. Anybody has any ideas for David on how Notre Dame can improve their football team, please see them after the debate. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to David Wolf.
Well, with that introduction, maybe we can have a moderator, I think, as much as we can get it. Well, Mayor. Okay, how do you sound? Okay, can you hear me in the back? I have one. Okay, this microphone is less than desirable. Anyway, thank everybody for attending tonight. We've been taking time away from our families this evening to be a part of the political process here in Terre Haute. For that, we're grateful. We're grateful to the media who is here to provide coverage of this event and to allow the opinions of our candidates to find its way outside of the building. I can see a few eyes. Are you able to hear me? I know it's just nice. Are you okay? Switch mics. This better? Okay, sorry. So, again, thank you for finding the right distance here. Is that about right? Okay, I apologize for this. So we'll start now introducing our two candidates. First to my right, we have the Republican candidate for Terre Haute Mayor, Mr. Bennett. And to my left, we have a Democratic candidate for mayor, Mayor Kevin Burke. I'll go through the ground rules of what we're going to do tonight, and then we'll start off with some opening statements. During the time that we're having these initial questions, I would encourage everyone to gather the 3x5 cards. Should be still here, hold up your cards so that people can stand. And if you have a pen, or you can ask for a pen, write questions down that you'd like to have asked these candidates. First 40 minutes, we will ask questions the neighborhood association has put together, and then the next 20 or 30 minutes after that, we're going to answer your questions. So please be a part of the process. As we start the debate, each candidate will be given 2 minutes for introductory remarks. We had a coin toss before we started tonight, and Mr. Bennett will start off with the first remark. After the introductory remarks, we'll start with the questions. Each question will be 2 minutes. My question will be 2 minutes. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to the question. Then the other candidate will have 30 seconds in rebuttal. We're going to have unlimited rebuttals to the degree it starts to drift off, and we'll switch on. But each candidate will have an opportunity to say what he wants on each given subject. The timekeeper, Jim Pintercast, is up front. When there's 15 seconds left and the person's time, he'll hold up the yellow card. And with no seconds left, he'll hold up the red card. At that point, candidate should stop speaking. At about 8:20, we will break some questions and go to 2 minutes summarization, closing remarks from your candidate, and then I'll thank you, welcome. So, with that, we will start with the introductory remarks, 2 minutes. First with Mr. Bennett.
Good evening, my name is Duke Bennett, and I'd like to be the next mayor of Terre Haute. It's good to see the turnout tonight. Obviously, there's some interest in this election, and that's what this is all about. That's what elections always boil down to, is deciding on your candidate and picking the right person to lead the city for the next 4 years. I really feel that it's a great opportunity for me to be up here. I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to see all of you here tonight. It's been great to talk with you in the community, just hear what your issues are, and to really be able to think a lot about what can we do to make Terre Haute better, all of us together. This is my second time around. I came back for more. The first time was a learning experience for me. This time it's about the real deal. It's really about what I've taken from the past, my experiences, my education, my love of this community, and what I can do personally to get involved in the process. And I know it's a big leap from just being a regular old taxpayer in the community to jump all the way up to the mayor's office, but I feel it's important that people of the community get involved in their government. Lifetime politicians and just systems that stay in place forever are not healthy. This is a healthy process, and this is an opportunity to do something different. As many of you know, I was a Republican, which is difficult in this community, but I'm very excited about the support I've been getting from all walks of life, all political parties, all colors, all creeds. I just really enjoy, and it's just been amazing. It's been a great process at this point. I want Terre Haute to prosper and grow. I've lived here my entire life. I've seen its ups and downs. And I really believe that I can bring some things to the table that will help us grow better jobs and spend the taxpayers' money wisely. When I say things about fiscal responsibility, it all boils down to every penny we spend needs to represent the taxpayer. We need to make sure that every cent that we spend is good for the taxpayers. I really want to be a good representative for you. I want to be your mayor that you'll be proud of. I will treat everybody equally, and I thank you for your being here tonight.
enjoyed the opportunity of being the mayor. I thank many of you for that privilege, and we thank you. I look forward to this evening because talking about neighborhoods is something that we enjoy. And I do look forward to tonight discussing specific ideas, specific strategies about how we do move Terre Haute in the future. This election that's 21 days from today is about how much closer we're going to be to creating the opportunities and jobs that our young people want. When I came to you in 2003, I made it very clear that my number one objective would be growth in Terre Haute. Almost without exception, you all told me that you wanted your young people to stay here. You wanted your children and grandchildren to have the opportunity to taste their dreams here. We set out with a long-term approach, looking at what needed to be done and prioritizing our resources so that we set out to accomplish that goal. Looking back, I have to tell you that the people of Terre Haute have responded in a remarkable way. The private sector has responded. They've taken advantage of the new spirit. And I seem to be more encouraged today than I was in 2003. I am utterly convinced that Terre Haute can become all that it needs to be because of who we are. I pledge to you that we will continue to move Terre Haute forward given that opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. First question will be directed first to Mayor Burke. What is your vision for the future of Terre Haute neighborhoods? What are the challenges we face getting there? And how will you address these challenges? The vision for the neighborhoods is for the neighborhoods to come back. But we identified over 20 different neighborhoods in the city of Terre Haute. We set out to do the city's part, which is to get busy on the infrastructure and do the things that homeowners can't do or can't afford to do. We envision some of our older neighborhoods coming back to re-identified, relabeled. We also see the growth of indigenous new neighborhoods. I'll give you an example. Rice Hall neighborhood is taking on that name. And we're excited about the effort that we see there of them taking ownership in their homes and around their neighborhood. I believe that the city does this in providing the infrastructure, the jobs, the growth, and the neighborhoods have the opportunity to grow and prosper as well. The challenges are always going to be resources, timing, and partnerships. And how we continue to partner together, marshaling our resources, prioritizing our efforts, and bringing our neighborhoods back before they just dwindle down to the only source left of redevelopment and federal funds after it's been declared wild. Thank you. Any questions, 2 minutes, Mr. Bennett?
You know what, a perfect way to build community is through the neighborhoods. You know, ever since I lived here, I kind of grew up on Finwood Avenue, which is out in the East Wabash area there. We really didn't have a neighborhood per se, but you always had that sense of neighborhood, your neighbors, and kind of how you grew up basically. And what a perfect way to build the community back up would be to have the city government work with entities such as the Terre Haute Neighborhood Partnership. I am the president of the Lincolnshire Woodshire Homeowners Association, which we're a member of the partnership, and I believe in what they've been doing for many, many years, and we feel like it's an important thing for us to be involved with. They recently attended conferences, they're doing a lot of things to bring new ideas to Terre Haute. We can't sit back and expect government to solve all the problems. What we need to do is get people and the community involved with the process, and the best way to do that is to organize efforts in the neighborhoods. I want to see us to the point where we have all our parks are up and functioning to the same level in all the neighborhoods. I want to see us fighting crime in all the neighborhoods. I want to see us doing everything across the board and treating everybody in this community equally and sharing and spreading that money all across the city to build each neighborhood one by one until we have a cohesive unit within this community. I really believe the power is in the people, not in government. So I really want to see us build this from the ground up, using the resources of the neighborhood partnership and the individual neighborhoods. Hopefully we get more people involved, and I believe we can move the city forward together. Thank you.
The only thing I would like to say about that is it is important that the city treat each neighborhood equally when it comes to development, the repair, and maintenance of their infrastructure. I'm extremely proud of this administration's ability to classify and identify the needs of the infrastructure and repair them on a prioritized basis, not on who lives in front of that infrastructure.
I think it's extremely important that we have an overall plan that allows us to tie everything together. I've never been in favor of kind of a piecemeal approach to things, and over many, many years, we've done things in different ways, and you really couldn't see where we're headed to. I think if we can work with the neighborhoods and communicate what we're trying to do, everybody would be on board with that. I understand that we are spending money on all the communities, but we've got to do it in a way that everybody sees the long-term plan.
I'm pleased with my opponent agrees with how we're doing it from the standpoint of having a plan. We've identified each and every sidewalk and street, classified them, given them a classification. Our plan is to remove, we're very close to removing all of the number one sidewalks, being closer on the number two, and our other plan is to remove all of these sidewalks that create liability to the city of Terre Haute.
That's exactly what the mayor's office are doing. That's the basic services. The responsibility of the mayor is to ensure that we're doing all those things. My point is that I would be working with the neighborhoods. I don't want to have the city to drive this. I want to make sure that we're doing it as a partnership with the community, that we're addressing things based on priority of the neighborhoods, the people, versus what the government believes we should be doing.
Thank you. I would say that we're also very proud of the work that we're doing in cooperation with the neighborhood. My opponent acts like that we have, and talks like that we have not had any impact or had any communication with the neighborhood. I want to personally thank Pat Martin and his interaction with those neighborhood partnerships and how that their needs are brought to the city and they do become part of our overall plan and they do become part of what we're doing in the city.
I'd like to thank Pat Martin for coming to our neighborhood meeting and sharing some information with us. I do appreciate that. But it's bigger than just engineering-related activities. It has to do with the community itself. It has to do with what people are, it's about jobs, it's about taxes, it's about all those things. And we have got to do things from the perspective that we're partners in all areas, not just some areas.
Once my correction, Pat Martin is in the engineering department, he is the city planner, and I'll submit the rest of my time if you do, tell us what that plan is. You said we need to be doing these things. What are these things that we need to be doing?
We need to be working on things related to building up each of the parks in each of the areas so they all are treated the same way. We need to build infrastructure in a way that ties neighborhoods together. We need to do things that make sense to the taxpayers so they see the long-term plan. It's not a patchwork effect. I'm not...
Let's try to direct comments to the audience as opposed to one another, and we'll go this to two more rounds for us.
We need to keep the focus away from...
Let me conclude very simply by saying that there is a distinct plan and method of what we're doing. I've received a number of phone calls to the city and the mayor's office requiring replacing sidewalks in front of rental property. It's because the sidewalks in front of the rental property are bad. We're going about this systematically, making sure we remove liability and treat every neighborhood equally.
what you'll get from me.
Okay, for the next question, we will begin with a comment and then two questions. Our neighborhood leaders, our neighborhood leaders constantly raise concern about poor property values in some of our older neighborhoods. This often involves absentee landlords. It leads to the problem of vacant and abandoned structures. It leads to eroding the values of surrounding properties. This question, we asked first of you, Mr. Bennett. How do you address the problem of abandoned houses and properties? And while doing that, how will you do this while preserving the historic nature of our neighborhoods?
There's a lot of different ways to approach this. Some are just strictly by ordinance. You can make all the laws and rules that you want, but it has to make sense to the taxpayer, the landowner, the business. It has to make sense that we can actually do it. We can have all the laws and books we want, but we have to be able to enforce them. One of the things that struck me recently is there's a lot of landowners, property owners, apartment type complexes. Their taxes continue to go up and up and up. Their profit margin is very, very small. They're getting to the point where they don't have any more money to reinvest in their property to keep it up. They're abandoning that part in order to pay their property taxes and their insurance and all the things that come along with being in that line of business. We've got to keep people in Terre Haute. The first thing we need to do is keep property taxes low so people can afford to live here, instill some pride in them from the perspective of they're getting their money source from the local government, they're working in partnership with the government, and they will decide to stay in Terre Haute, and we'll have that in our tax base. People continue to leave Terre Haute, leaving the rest of us here to carry that burden. In order to fix these problems, we're going to have to do things to make people want to be a part of this community and be excited about what's going on here, and not do things that will dissuade them from doing things. And rising taxes and more rules and guidelines that exist but aren't enforced will not help us in that area.
I would like to point out that less than 50% of your property tax is funded. Less than 50% of the city budget is funded by property tax. Yes, the city budget is growing, that's because we've grown exterior funding. I really don't, but I'm really troubled at what does property taxes have to do with mowing the grass? Folks, you have a very hard-working group of individuals that every day go out and do their best to bring people into compliance by citing them and making them aware that their property is not appropriately maintained. But we can only take that so far. We can only take it as far as the city court system. And if that's what brings people into compliance. When we began this, we said, take people to court, make them clean up their property. We found out we can't. Only the city judge can. So I encourage you to attend city court and find out why your neighbor's property is not being cleaned up.
There are many people in our community that just can't afford to do things around their house. We do need to partner with people like Habitat for Humanity, Christmas for April, organizations that can help us deal with these individuals. When we cite them, sometimes they'll just say they don't love that grass, and that's great. But there are some people that just can't do it. They can't afford to do it, but they don't have the wherewithal, they may be older folks. I want to be able to work with people that help them get into compliance and not force them into compliance.
Working with people to bring them into compliance is why we give a means to hear and go back multiple times and work with them and give them extensions and trying to help them understand that they would simply mow the grass, pick up the trash out of their yards. They wouldn't have to go to city court. We're only able to take the most heinous ones to city court, and then they're repeatedly given
Kevin Burke will be responding. Mayor Burke, how do you think Terre Haute is viewed by people outside our community? What will you do to improve this image?
I'm deeply encouraged by the numerous emails, letters, and personal contacts we have about the people who travel throughout our state and how they are being approached about Terre Haute differently. I think the letter in the paper the other day sums it up quite well. The consultants that come to town and talk to us, they tell us how Terre Haute is on the list of an awful lot of people throughout Indiana. They're very curious what's happening in Terre Haute and how we've made the changes that we have. And I believe that is a testament to you all. Because you are the ones that change what Terre Haute looks like. If you start leading more in your hometown, then they can see it. And my perception is one that I receive a lot of confidence about what you all have been able to accomplish in Terre Haute and what we've been able to make happen in the last few years. So I believe the perception has changed dramatically in a very short time.
I would like to be a mayor that engages people in the community. And what I mean by that is people getting excited about taking care of their properties, having job opportunities, things that bring enthusiasm and investment to the community. That's the kind of thing that we need to do together. It's not the mayor's job to do that. It's not our government's job to do that. It's all of us in this room and the rest of the community. You know, there's some people out there that still have that old image of Terre Haute. You talk to people and say it stinks or whatever. We've just got to continue to fight that. We have to stand up to the city when people bring them make those comments, tell them things aren't like they used to be. Come and visit Terre Haute. I think if we really work to change our image within ourselves first, change our hearts, it'll change our image. You can only do so much with money. You can build things, you can do things, but it has to do with the heart of the people. And I really believe that we can do those things together. We can't just assume anything. We have to work hard, we have to network, we have to get relationships with people in Indianapolis. There's a lot of folks over there that just really don't pay a lot of attention to Terre Haute. I've been able to talk with some people who have said, you know, Terre Haute looks like there's some things happening over there. Other people say it's all the same old Terre Haute. We've got to sell that in. When we're out in this community, we've got to sell Terre Haute. It's all of us doing that, not the mayor, not the city council, not the government, but each one of us in this room. That's how we build the city.
In 2003, you made it very clear to me that you expected results, that you expected things to change, that you were tired of hearing people talk about making a difference, talking about what could, should, would, and that you simply wanted things to be different. We set out to do that, and I believe that the rest of the state of Indiana is seeing the results of that.
You know, every election, somebody's the incumbent and somebody's the challenger. So there are opportunities to talk about a lot of things, but until you actually get in that position, you can't act on anything. From my perspective, what I want to do is be able to make you feel confident that I will represent each of one of you to the best of my ability. And that every penny that I spend will represent the taxpayer. It's about us. It's not about any one elected official or any group of elected officials. It's about what we can do together. And that's the bottom line.
I would assume you're talking about the fact that I don't spend a great deal of time in my office, sitting around waiting for people to come see me. I did not think in 2003 that's what you hired me to do, sit in my office and wait for people to come see me. I thought in 2003 you hired me to make a difference in the growth of the city of Terre Haute, and you can't do that sitting in your office.
What was going to be about this in office? I actually voted for myself, so, the thing about it is, when the election is over, it's not about politics or about who wins or loses, it's about what we can all do to jump on board with this city. Thank you.
I'll simply close by saying it's been very gratifying to see the amount of support and the amount of encouragement that we receive and the difference that you all are making in your neighborhoods and in your businesses by changing your attitude and supporting our efforts and moving our community forward. So I thank you for that support.
Is all of us need to continue to work very, very hard for this community. That's how we'll change it.
Next question, we begin with a comment and then a question. The comment is, during our participation in the regional neighborhood conferences, we learned how many communities have enabled successful neighborhood projects. The major catalyst for many of those successes was rooted in the organization, ordinances, and actions of the city government. Our question is, would you support a neighborhood coordinator or a department of neighborhoods in your administration? And if so, when? Mr. Bennett, your first response.
For those of you who were here for the primary, one of the forum that we had here, I announced that I wanted to create a community liaison position that's more than just dealing with engineering issues and those kinds of things. I want somebody who's engaged with all the not-for-profits in town, all the other government entities, somebody who keeps tabs and knows what the heartbeat of those organizations are, so we can work together. You know, the mayor can't do that by himself. It's going to take the effort of someone who's dedicated to dealing with community issues. That's one of the toughest jobs. I mean, you can't make everybody happy. There's no way. And all of you know that some of them are going to be happy and some of them aren't. But if we can have a person that's very well respected in that position to go out and engage with, you know, what are we doing? How can we get not-for-profits to do things? How can we get the government to do this part? How can the neighborhoods play their role? So I envision a person that, you know, attends the meetings, is involved with boards. You know, they can't do everything either, but they'll be the catalyst. They'll be the person that it flows through. And then that information can get back to the city government department who needs to do that. We can't expect all the department heads to do that. They have responsibility for it. We need to focus someone just to do that. So I wholeheartedly support that position, and I believe that we can create the existing funds in the city budget.
Clearly understand that there needs to be communication between neighborhoods and the city government. That's why we created the position of city planner and was able to acquire that market services to fill that. As his job continues to grow, we will certainly be able to look at if that job grows to the point that the neighborhood's needs are not being met. It's all about providing tools to job done. I believe the see that our track record is one that we do provide the tools to make sure the city services are delivered at a high level. I will say though, that if you've got a police issue, I want the police chief to answer those questions, the fire chief to answer those questions, the controller, not have to go through another layer of government for you to get the answers that you need. So I think we need to be very careful that we don't set up one person as to be the only person that you can get answers from.
And I'm not proposing the system would be that the information would funnel, we would get it to the right place, and then we would ensure there's feedback to those individuals who made the initial request. I believe that it can work very well. I believe that somebody who's knowledgeable about what's going on in all areas is very helpful to the administration and the community, and we will room other people to fill that position and assist in that position. And of course, the specific issues will go directly to those department heads of those areas, but we need a place to funnel those through instead of everybody having to.
We have already heard you say that we need to make the government a lot smaller, and we need to cut our expenses, and now that we want to add yet another person. I want to make it clear that as the needs become, as the need arises, we've proven that we can meet those needs by acquiring and getting very good people in place. The neighborhoods can rest assured that if the need arises, city services can be delivered.
You can be assured that I'm not going to spend any money frivolously, and we can work within the existing budget. As I said just a few minutes ago, we can do it within the budget without adding to the budget. It's just an allocation of resources, that's all it is.
What would be some of the things that you would cut to make that happen?
As I just said, I wouldn't have to cut anything. I've worked within the existing budget. My goal is to not raise the levy to the maximum limit every year, so I can work within the budget.
I agree with you. What it will be for that, as you point out, yet, and unable to make resources to appear out of thin air. And the only way to convert resources from one area is to take them from another.
There's always, even within your own budget, you can make decisions all the time about reallocation of resources. I think it's a very simple thing. I do it every day in my job. There's ways to make it happen, and it's really not that difficult. Just the bottom line is doing what's best for the taxpayer. That's the bottom line.
I will give it a new microphone. Does this work? Okay, this question is directed to the mayor first. As mayor, as mayor and chief operating officer of the city, how do you, or best case, would you motivate those in your administration to get the best of them?
It's very hard. I apologize.
Okay, right here.
You can use my microphone to watch that.
Equal opportunity microphones. As mayor and chief operating officer of the city, how do you or would you motivate those in your administration to get the best from them?
Thank you. For those of you who are how do you get the best out of people? First of all, you've got to have the right people, you've got to get in the right spot, you've got to clearly outline their jobs, you've got to give them the tools to do their jobs. You can't expect people to do their jobs and not have the tools. And then once you get to place the tools in their hand, you get out of the way and let them do their job. You don't micromanage them and have your hands in their business. But then you hold them highly accountable. And I found this to be extremely successful in motivating people when you allow them to do their jobs in a fashion that they and their staff have found through their efforts to be the most efficient and productive way to do it. I'm very encouraged by the departments we have and their ability to produce at a very high level and to keep themselves motivated as well as motivating those that work for them. For any of you in business or any of you that employees, you know that employee morale is always a challenge. All of us would like to sit at home and not have to work. But I can tell you, getting the right people in the right place, getting the tools to do their job has produced an extremely impressive record for the city of Terre Haute.
Clearly, the best way to carry forward with your mission, whatever that might be in this particular day city government, we have to remember that we're servants. We work for the taxpayers. That's what we do. And I think it would be extremely important to have good people in the positions that understand the customer service aspect, that we're serving our clients and as the citizens of this community. You know, whenever anybody, when you have a boss, you always like to respect them. They allow you to do your job and do it to the best of your ability. And that's the kind of manager that I've always been. I've been in a director position now for about 20-some years. About 23, I think, exactly, here in the next month. And what's been important to me is let people function, let them do their job, but be there to support them, and be able to help them handle their issues, provide the resources to them, whether it's training or equipment or whatever that might be for them to be able to do their job. So you can be assured that I will support all the department heads and every city employee to the best of my possible ability, because the end result are the taxpayers satisfied? Is the community satisfied? Are we delivering the services to the best of our ability? And I'll do that by giving them training and resources, I said, but the support is the biggest piece. And you will see a level of respect from my administration. I will always be there for them, and that's just the way I am.
I'd just like to add that one thing that I was able to bring to the private sector with me is the idea of customer service. If we establish new customer love, these customers actually were in our relationship, it made a dramatic difference. And we got a lot happier employees because they've been given the ability to answer questions and solve problems at every level and provide a level of customer service that they can as well.
One of the things that, obviously, anytime you go anywhere, customer service is what you remember. And I want to make sure that when we deliver the services to the city of Terre Haute, you will feel like you got good service. That'll be the bottom line. And the only way to do that is to have the department heads share that same vision and the employees of the city. So that will just be my goal, is to get everybody on board with that message that we are service.
Next question, first this is comment. In a recent opinion survey of one of our neighborhoods, 83% of the respondents said crime was a problem. Question, given these people's fears, what will you do to make Terre Haute a more secure place for people and their property?
It usually boils down to what the focus is, what your target is, how are you going to approach this. And I know that the police department works very hard. They've got a community policing program that I would like to expand. I know that, I deal with people all the time in my profession that, there's crimes that are committed. Most of them are petty crimes. But a lot of times they grow into more serious crimes. We've got to solve the problem in the beginning. We can't ignore it until it becomes a big problem. And I've always had a personal issue, which is not anything in particular here, it happens everywhere, but they ignore the petty crimes and go for the big crimes. I want to provide the support to the police department and work with the court system so that we can get criminals off the street before they move into the larger crimes. Addiction is a big problem in this community. Most of the crime is committed by people with addictions. We've got to continue to work hard to get the drugs off the street, the small players as well as the big players. My goal is to work in the community. People know who are committing these crimes. You go into schools right now, and the kids know who's doing the graffiti, who's breaking into houses. We need to focus our efforts on getting them when they're young, when they're committing those crimes, so we stop them from escalating and the crimes becoming more of an issue for the community. So I believe in all that support, and I will provide whatever resources I need to build that neighborhood by neighborhood.
Unfortunately, the city of Terre Haute is not immune to some of the very same things that all communities are facing, some more than others. I'm very proud of our police department and the efforts that they've made over the last few years. I can tell you that some of the changes that we've made are already beginning to show results. I realize that the results are lagging behind perception. But the call for service from 2007 to 2006 have went down. The number of crimes reported have went down. The number of arrests made has went up. The number of convictions up. The amount of recovered property dramatically increased. So the things that we've done in creating interdepartmental cooperation between the Indiana State Police, the county, and the city police, the technology we've added to their vehicles, radio system that we continue to work on, all of the things that we worked on for 3.5 years are beginning to show the results. Your neighborhoods there are going to be the nuisance of the graffiti and vandalism. And I want to encourage you, your individual neighborhood is not being picked on. It's going to take a lot of people willing to step up and say, this is who's winning, and be willing to help through community policing, doing your part to secure your property, remove the opportunities for theft, and work with our police department for the results to be what you want them to do. I'm encouraged that we're already seeing the results far ahead of what we expected.
One of the primary functions of government is public safety. That's at the top of my list. It's very, very important that we invest in both fire and police. It is very important that we get the community involved. People have to feel confident and feel like there won't be retribution of these things to make a report. And every community faces that. We face it here in Terre Haute because I've heard it from people that, well, I'm not going to tell this guy next door because I can't be assured that they're not going to come after me. We have to get people to the point where they feel confident to do that, stand up, defend their own neighborhood, and work from there.
2003, you said you wanted things to change. You wanted to see more control. You wanted to see more people in uniform. You want to see more presence by your police department than we delivered them. At no point in time have we had more police officers on patrol than we do right now. We've equipped them, we're training them, and we're putting them out there. Now, as community policing effort continues to pay results, we'll see the results.
Veteran service will be a major priority for me, and I will do everything I possibly can from the mayor's position to deal with crime. It's not easy, but if we continue to work at it and attack it, then we can make a difference.
We can also rest assured that we're not going to change our priorities. Public safety has been our top priority. We've shown it with our budget. We've shown it in many, many different ways. You have made that clear. Make no mistake about it. Public safety is our top priority, and it will remain so.
This will be a twofold question. The question first be directed to Mayor Burke, and I'll give a different but related question to Mr. Bennett, and we'll go to rebuttal. The question to Mayor Burke, as mayor, I love this question, by the way. As mayor, if you go back in time and repeat your first term, what one thing would you do differently?
I believe if I could go back and start over, that I would look at my department heads and I would give each and every one of them equal time. Even though they have done a remarkable job, I did not do a remarkable job of helping each and every one of them. They performed an admirable way. If I could go back and do things different, I would reprioritize my time, and I would give some of my department more attention than I did.
To Mr. Bennett, if you were successful in your run as mayor in 2007, describe what your first year plan might look like.
Well, obviously, if I would like to, have to inherit a budget that's already in place, so I will obviously work with that in a way that I'll do the best I possibly can to carry forward things that are in progress. I'm not going to stop progress. I want to continue on with that. I'll begin on day one to craft my budget for the next year and prioritize things from the perspective of what the community needs. I believe that, there'll be challenges, there'll be ups and downs, there'll be things you have to learn, there'll be a learning curve, but there's with any position change. but I really believe that you'll see me engaging with the community and hearing what they have to say. So in order for me to craft my budget, but the real bottom line will be customer service. I will focus on every employee in the city of Terre Haute to find a better way, a quicker way, any kind of way that we can deliver the services better and communicating with people. Communication is big for me. I want people to know exactly where I stand on every issue. You won't have to make any assumptions. You'll know why I'm making a decision that it leads to the next step. So my whole time will be to work with the community so they'll get to know me, the way I do things, and know how we're going to move forward. Putting a budget together will be a big part of what we do in year two. So that's really what the focus will be, to tap into that first year of a learning experience, but really making sure that we're doing the thing for the taxpayer and moving into that second year where we can really have a bigger impact.
You didn't get me about it, Mike. I just about it. You were listening about it. Okay, well, then, let me say one thing. The city of Terre Haute has a great deal of momentum right now, and I don't know that we can afford a year of a learning curve. And so I readily say to you, we need to continue the momentum that we have and not take a year off.
Well, I didn't say I was taking a year off at all. I said there's a learning curve with any job change, and there's a process that I will have to inherit the existing budget. So the idea being that as we move forward together, we will do those things to represent the community as best we can. I'm certain that when this mayor and any other mayors are stepped into position, there's a learning curve, and to deny that would be inappropriate.
That's a simpler question. This will be directed first to Mr. Bennett. How will you improve communications between city council, city officials, and Terre Haute neighborhoods?
Obviously, we need to communicate a lot of things. I mean, that's the bottom line. Anytime you go into any organization, they say, what's the biggest issue here? It's communication. I believe that we need to do more things on the internet. We have an internet inside the system where everybody can share information within the city, but we need to share that same information externally through the internet. We need to have budgetary information, we need to have information in the newspaper, we need to totally open government so they know exactly what we're doing with every dollar we're spending. When it comes to the city council, I've never understood why we don't have it on television, on local public service access. There is a little bit of a cost to do that, but there's communities, all small communities, all over the United States doing it. Every time I go on vacation or go somewhere, it's kind of boring, but I'll watch that stuff, and it's interesting to me how they do things in other communities. We can do that here. I will make the investment, whatever I can do as the mayor, from a budgetary perspective, to ensure that we put it on TV so you can see your councilman work, and you'll be able to know how we're doing things within City Hall. I'm going to have open office hours in City Hall. I want people to come and talk to me. I want them to ask questions. I'm going to be communicate as much as I possibly can, knowing that you can't talk to everybody, but at least you can be open and accountable to the public, and that would be what my administration revolves around.
I encourage you to go to the Wood City website now, because we are recording the city council meeting. You can download those files and listen to the city council meeting. Very clearly, we would like to televise them. We have had a number of meetings with ISU, school corporation, and it's going to take the city council deciding that they want to televise their own meetings for that to be an appropriate action to take place. We certainly have made available agendas and all down the line, and the best way you know what the city council is doing, I would encourage you to attend and to take part. Call, make an appointment with your city councilman and meet with him or her and talk to him about the issues that you have.
It's always been disappointing me to kind of see the turnout, and this is a great turnout tonight here from election season, but, you know, when you do go to the council meetings, not a whole lot of people show up unless they have a specific issue on the table. It would be good to engage people more, make them feel comfortable with participating in that process. And I'm sure our councilman would support televising over the cable that we would have the meetings on TV. You know, I'm just proponent of open and honest government, so that everything I do will try to fall into that category of anything and everything exposed to the public. Thank you.
Well, that's good because that's the law. The law says that everything that we do is public record. You realize that you can walk into my office, pull over my file, and go through that. There's no fear on my part because everything that we do is public record, and we've made that available.
That nobody's questioning is public record. What it is people have a difficult time getting to City Hall between 8 and 4 on a weekday. They have jobs to do. And I want to put things on the internet so you know how we're spending the money each month. What's the income? What's the algo? Just things that will help diffuse some of the questions and issues that people have. Sure, there's going to be very specific things I have to visit City Hall for, but I want to make it as easy as I possibly can to expose people, make them feel comfortable with coming to City Hall and easily accessing the information.
I invite you to go to the city website and download the 2008 budget. It's there, you download it, take a look at the budget, if you have any questions, either contact the appropriate department or the controller.
Okay, we're going to switch over to your questions. Let's do the first question from the audience. This one is directed at Mrs. Bennett. What do you see as the most cost-efficient and time-efficient solution to the railroad crossing Bathurst?
I see spending the money on an underpass at 19th Street as an example. I love long-term planning and vision. I love that. That's great. But we need to do something now. We should have done a plan. We need to solve the problem with the underpass. There are things that cost a ton of money to build an inland port. Nothing wrong with the concept, but it's in the county. It's not a city project. And I want to deal with the city issues by spending our money in the city by building an underpass at 19th Street, just as an example.
An underpass at 19th and Market would solve 19th and Market's problem. It's doing about $20 to $22 million. That doesn't solve Ohio, Walnut, Hopper, or any of the other streets that are north of that. This administration is not interested in having another two-bridge overpass, or those overpass, or another pass. And then come to find out we need to move the railroad. Rail relocation through either geographic footprint movement or grade separation is the ultimate goal. It's only through carried out long-range planning with all stakeholders involved that we can solve the rail issue in Terre Haute. We know about 19th and Market, but we want to solve 19th and Market all the way to the town.
I told them you probably know, in Lafayette, they moved the railroads out of town. It took about 30 years and it took $220 million. It's a long-term project. The railroads have to want to do it. And right now, there's no vested interest for them to invest in doing that. Nothing wrong with long-range planning. Don't take me wrong. It's all good. And an inland port concept, I'm okay with that. But we've got problems to solve today. And with the city administration having a cash and everything to be able to do these projects, I believe that's a worthy investment.
Unfortunately, the fact
The bicycle trail on Ohio Boulevard is an accident waiting to happen. Cars are parking in front of the church. If a bike pulls out to go around the car, he's in danger of being hit. Do something. And this is addressed first to Mayor Burke.
The facts prove out that the average speed has been reduced by 11% on Ohio Boulevard, simply by adding the bike lanes. Our bike paths and trails have been one of the most supported things we've enjoyed in our first year. If there's any one thing that the people of Terre Haute make it clear that they want, and they take ownership in, is the trails and bike paths. They've made it clear to us. The community companies that have come to talk to us are impressed with our ability to provide that amenity, and I believe I get a lot of confidence on the bike path on the highway because it is providing safety for those who want to ride their bike.
It's going to take people getting used to that, obviously. People riding their bikes there before. One thing that strikes me, though, is, there are people using, and people are driving down that road, and as they get used to each other, it should work itself out. But people need to be wary of people, pedestrians and bicycles everywhere, not just on Ohio Boulevard. One of the issues that I have with the trail system is like on 4th Street. I actually would propose that we would put paint down on 4th Street instead of all the bumpers and all of the extra things that we spent to do that on that particular piece of stretch. But if there's an issue from a perspective, maybe we need to do more education, maybe more signage. But I really believe paint is a better solution than bumpers that will cause damage to vehicles or the actual run into bumpers, the yellow bumpers, and spending that extra money. I'd rather spend it on paint than I would on concrete and steel.
I would like to thank American Road Homeowners Association and their input into the trail that goes through their neighborhood on 4th Street. They were involved in that design. They decided which side of the street it was going to be on. They contributed to what took place there. And once again, we're delighted to provide the neighborhood what they wanted.
I think it's great that they have a bike trail. I'm just saying that there's different ways you can do it, as we've done it on Ohio Boulevard, or as we've done it on all the other trails in town. So the bottom line is working with the neighborhood to find out what the issues are there, and working out a common ground, not just assuming anything, but finding a common ground. Thank you.
That's why we did this. That's why we did involve American Road Homeowners Association. They were involved in design and plans, and we're pleased that 4th Street will no longer be patching and going down and making sewer repairs 20 feet below the street, block after block after block.
This is addressed first to Mr. Bennett. During a recent neighborhood poll, code enforcement was a concern. A significant roadblock for code enforcement has been the court congestion. How can we better implement code enforcement?
I think we addressed that a little bit earlier. We have laws that are on the books that we can enforce. It takes people being willing to work with that system. And if we're able to do things to get people to get on board with cleaning their property, picking up their trash, cutting their grass, there'll be less need for the code enforcement side. But what I'm told is a lot of code enforcement officers are working very, very hard right now. They could use some more support. That's an area that you would hope that you could move into and get people to conform and work with you as a community. So my goal would be to provide whatever resources you need for that department, work with the city court judge, as we discussed earlier, it's the same issue, to be able to do this as a community effort. Some people do need help, though. We are going to have to work with some folks and help them through this process. Not all of them are going to pay their fines, and not all of them have the money to pay the fine. We're going to have to help people through this process and get everybody involved and proud of their property to clean it up. I'm all for code enforcement. I'm all for enforcing the law. That's one of the oaths the mayor has to take, is enforce the laws of the state of Indiana and the city of Terre Haute, and I would do that to the utmost ability that I possibly could.
Let me just say that I look forward to 2008 with a great deal of enthusiasm. The opportunity to have John Roach as our city judge excites me. He's running unopposed, and I'm sure someone's voted in a satellite by now, so he's been elected. So congratulations, Judge. We'll see you in the back there. We look forward to working with him. I believe that John understands that yes, he may lose a vote by making someone clean up their yard, but he gains 3 votes from all the neighbors. And it's through us doing our job, through code enforcement, making sure that we bring in good cases, that we don't make mistakes, that we give him good stuff to work with, and we will continue to produce at a very high level so that John and his court are able to do the things that he wants to do and that he wants to do. And that is to bring these people into compliance. I can't make them clean up their yard. All I can do is write them a citation through my EPD department. So all we can do is continue to partner with the city court and the clerk's office, and to make sure that we utilize our resources and that we get the worst perpetrators to clean up their yards, maintain their property, drag their cars off, get rid of the building materials, and to be good neighbors.
This one was addressed first to Mayor Burke. And have a little hard time reading part of it, so there's some questions. So, what about citing the city for abandonment of lots of grass, i.e. South 17th Street, South 18th Street, 3rd Avenue, etc.? Why do people get cited for not mowing the grass but not the city?
You have a location that the grass is not mowed and it belongs to the city, please let us know. Because I'm spending about $65,000 to $70,000 a year of your money mowing lots that we ended up with because absentee owners abandoned them, or we had to go in and tear the houses down. I really don't like spending that much of your money mowing grass, or having to mow lots owned by other people. Your basic question was about the city's lots. How much money do you want us to spend to maintain the lots is the question. We've had to prioritize that, and we're only human. If we missed a lot, you let us know, because we'll get the lot mowed.
Obviously, the city owns lots and they need to be mowed, and people should report that. And I would say that if the administration didn't take care of that, that would be a huge problem. I don't know about those lots, I can't really comment on that, but it's very important that we would take care of our property and set an example for everybody else. So that would just be what I would do.
Mr. Bennett, the cost of government is rising and will continue to rise. Terre Haute and Vigo County vie for the same limited sources of revenue and redundancy exists. Indianapolis and Marion County very successfully addressed this years ago by instituting UNIDAP. Do you see this as a realistic option for local consideration?
Yeah, I support the consolidation of government, and I know the legislature is going to be addressing that, whether they have the guts to actually do anything about it, I don't know. But they're looking from a township perspective, a city perspective, I support the UNIGO concept as long as it's done in the right way. And you can do it, in Indianapolis, we're struggling with some of the mergers with their departments. It just needs to be done in the perspective of you really save money. If you can't save money, there's no reason to do it. But if you can, then it makes perfect sense. So I'm not opposed to that at all. It will take an act from the legislature to allow that to continue to happen. They have to allow Indianapolis to do it. So all we can do is lobby and work together to try to make that happen. But I do support the concept.
Not only do I support the concept of removing duplication. We practice. We have combined dispatch between the city and county as an example of where we didn't need a county dispatch and a city dispatch. And we combined those services so that we didn't have to hire more dispatch. Marion County has been successful in some ways, but they've not been as successful as Vigo County and others. Back in the 60s, Vigo County had the intelligence and the fortitude to combine all of their school corporations into one school corporation. If you want to look at the impact of the tax bill, the ability for Vigo County to combine their schools into one tax entity is far and away better than what Marion County has to fight for multiple school corporations. Park County has 3 school corporations. Shelby County has 4. We're way ahead of them. We have a combined health department. We have a combined area plan. We just need to keep going. We've got combined dispatch, and we need to identify those areas that we can continue to combine city and county services and provide the level of service that you all deserve. Yes, it is tricky work. Marion County just last year combined sheriff and police, and have not yet combined the fire departments, and that's over 65% of your budget. So, unification, absolutely. And we're doing
Anything we can do to save the taxpayers money and not lose any level of service is what I'm for. So I would be happy to sit down with the county or any other entities here to find ways to make that happen. So we all just get bigger bang for the buck.
This will be the last question, and we'll go to closing remarks. And the final question is directed to Mayor Burke. If elected or re-elected this year, would you run again in 4 years?
I'll make the same statement that I made in 2003. I said in 2003 that if I was elected, if I tried for re-election, I would decide if I could come and stand in front of you and tell you that I had done a good enough job to be re-elected. And that's why I'm standing here tonight. I'll give you the same answer now. In 2010, should I get the re-election this year? There'll need to be a decision made. And at that time, we'll decide whether we have done a good enough job to ask you to keep it. And if we're still producing the results that you deserve, that you want, and we feel like the support is there, I can only say that we'll answer that decision then. And I can tell you that it's an exciting job and very rewarding. So we have no reservations about serving if we're still doing a good job.
I think what we're trying is we always should focus on and try as hard as we can to get people engaged in this process and to run for office. The mayor's office is a tough job, and fortunately we've got candidates that are willing to step up to this and do the job. The bottom line once again is, how do we do it as a community? If I was the mayor, if I'm elected mayor on November 6th, then I'll have to process my own self. How did I do? Was I a good mayor? I wouldn't run again if I thought I failed. There's no way. The bottom line is doing what's best for the taxpayer. My whole life revolves around serving people and doing what's right to the best of my ability. I'm not perfect, but when I get in this position, I will work hard every day to represent you the best I can. And at the end of that 4 years, if I felt like I've done a good job and the feedback's there, I'd probably run again. If I lose this election upcoming, I'll probably run again next time. So that's where I'm at.
Let's thank both candidates for putting on the I'll take a moment to thank the people who have been working. I don't know, if you have to raise your hand that's had a card here as far as taking cards and timers. Give those people a round of applause. moving into closing statements. By the luck of the draw, Mayor Byrd will begin with a two-minute closing remarks, followed by Mr. Ben and no rebuttals. So, Mayor.
I want to close with the same thing that I began with, and say thank you to each and every one of you. 2003 gave me the opportunity to be the mayor. You took a chance on someone that had not done the job before. You allowed me to surround myself with some of the best and brightest and most creative and talented people I could find. You've given us the benefit of the doubt, many of you have. You've enabled us to move our community forward in ways that we didn't dream of. We've changed perspective of how we're viewed by the rest of the state. We're even changing the perception of how we're doing ourselves. We have a renewed sense of hope. We have a renewed sense that good things can happen, that we're capable of better. And I thank you for that. You have inspired not only myself, but you've inspired the people that work for you to go out there and continue to do a good job. I want to pledge to you, first of all, if you give us the opportunity to continue for another 4 years, you will not see us slacking off. You will not see us slowing down. We have a long way to go there. You will see a renewed effort to make Terre Haute what it ought to be. And I'm going to close by simply saying to you that I want your vote. I want you to vote for me so that we can keep the team together and that we can keep producing the results that we are confident that you've asked for and that you deserve, and the type of results that will make the community one that will provide the opportunity for our young people to chase their dreams right here. Thank you.
Thank all of you for being here tonight, and thank you for the sponsors. I really appreciate this opportunity to be here today to speak with you. You know, it's an exciting time for me too. I mean, I know I'm the challenger. It's difficult being a Republican in this community, but at the end of the day, it's about the best person who can lead Terre Haute forward. You have to make that decision. You weigh all the pros and the cons, and you look at all the backgrounds and all the things that are on the table, and you decide who you want to be your mayor for the next 4 years. We get this opportunity, and people decide what they want to do, and we all live with that. So no matter what happens in this election, we all have to get behind the mayor and move forward. So what I'm asking for you to do is just really take a look at the differences between us. And there is a big difference. There really is. People say, you know, no, I don't see much difference. You know, I hear that all the time. I think there's significant differences, and it really comes down to prioritization of how we spend and what we spend money on. I want to do those things that make all of you feel like you're getting your money's worth. And that's what it's all about. I really want to be a servant for the community. I want to be involved in this community. I want to see it grow. I want my kids to stay here and grow up here. I want to have the most honest and ethical and productive government that we can possibly have, doing it the best way we can, with customer service at the forefront and doing it in a way that's very fiscally responsible. And that really is that's what I'm all about. And I just thank you for being here tonight. The election's coming. I ask for your support on November 6th, and I promise you will not be disappointed if you elect me mayor. Thank you, and good night.
I want to thank all of you once again for coming, and we have a great number of questions that were submitted, and unless you all want to stay here till 3 a.m., we're not going to be able to answer them. But the neighborhood partnership is going to compile them, and we meet once a month with whichever of these gentlemen is elected mayor. We're going to continue all of those issues that you might have raised, and we'll do our very best to have your voice heard in the Terre Haute Neighborhood Partnership Forum. So thank you.